Fine Chinaman here, and today we've got Trenton back to talk about a variety of interesting pieces for your table. Trenton, how are you today?
I am excellent. How are you?
I'm doing
Beautiful day,
very well.
Adam.
Yes, it is a beautiful day. And today we have some very beautiful pieces to look at as well. Three out of the four pieces, here's a look at these pieces. Three out of the four are very decorative. So we're going to start as we usually do with the biggest and work our way down to the smallest. So we'll start off with that least decorative piece, the really long one, measuring in at 8 1/8 inches long. What is this?
Well, any good Southerner knows what this is. This is an iced teaspoon when you're served lemon, and if your tea is not sweetened, it's used to stir the ice, the lemon and the sugar in your iced tea. Very straightforward, pretty restrictive. That's pretty much what it's designed for. In some patterns, especially the ones at the turn of the 20th century, they made a smaller version of this and they call it a parfait spoon. It is about 3/4 the size and it is designed for a dessert. If you have a parfait glass, it's shaped like a champagne flute, but smaller, shorter, and you put ice cream and creme de menthe or chocolate sauce on it, and the little spoon bowl is perfect for that. And it's a very fancy dessert for not a lot of money, and it looks good.
Yeah, I haven't seen very many of those, but I have. It seems like the iced teaspoon is a pretty common piece across a lot of patterns when you see them up for sale.
Iced teaspoons are ubiquitous, especially for patterns from the 1950s when they were selling 5 and 6 piece place settings. It was, if you look in old magazines, you'll see iced teaspoons, iced tea glasses on the table for lunch. I've heard say that not everybody sweetens their iced tea. I find that hard to believe, but they do sometimes in some places serve sugar separately, so you can add sugar to your tea. Not at my mother's house.
So with this iced teaspoon, if you're going to have a place setting, say for lunch, and you're going to serve iced tea, where would you put that iced teaspoon?
To the right of the knife, to the right of the plate, it would go there. A lot of people will have spoon rests. You can see those. They're shaped like the bowl of the spoon, often used for bridge parties. You can use it for people will often have a, uh, a coaster on the table to rest the spoon in. That has been a mystery of my life the whole time, and I never thought to ask my grandmother. She just served it, and we stirred the tea, the lemon in the tea, and I don't even remember. It's been so long where we put the spoon, but we certainly did not put it on her tablecloth. That's for sure. Probably a coaster because she had those little glass and silver rim coasters, and we rested in there.
Years ago, I was a docent at a museum for a house built in the 1880s, and it was a beautiful house. And one of the things they had on the table were knife rests. Very similar idea. They didn't want any leftover remnants of butter that was on a knife to stain that tablecloth because laundry was not the easiest thing to do. They rather would just shake the tablecloth out after they used their crumber to scrape it and put it back away for the next dinner. They didn't want to have to launder it.
Exactly. I'm sure down in the comments, many folk will tell me where they put the iced teaspoons, and I hope it's a nice place.
I hope so too. The next spoon, I really think is a neat spoon. It comes in measuring at 5. Some of you may remember, say, well, we've already done this spoon. It looked the same as this, but that one was 6 inches, and that was a sugar spoon. We did that one before, but this one comes in at 5 inches. What is this really neat little spoon?
This is an ice cream spoon or a sorbet spoon, and we need to think about what life was like at the turn of the 20th century. You just did not go to the grocery store and get a bunch of ice cream from the freezer. There weren't freezers. You made your ice cream, and it was exotic and it was unusual. We may eventually find an ice cream slice. And so it was a very special dessert. and these are very decorative. The decoration in the bowl actually performs a function so that if you're getting the ice cream out of a bowl or off of a plate, the ice cream will not stick to the spoon. It will be easier to get out and to actually function really well. It's also about decorative, and by the end of a multi-course meal, you're ready for decorations. You're hopefully not hungry still. But as somebody said, you were not invited to parties like this because they thought you were hungry. You were invited for company and good conversation.
Right. Thank you. The next one is a very small little spoon. It measures in at 3.5 inches, quite decorative. What is this one?
Right. And the other one is even smaller, right?
It is. This is the
Okay.
second to smallest.
Okay, so the second to the smallest, this is a master salt spoon. And it would be designed, or sometimes people would use it for mustard, but it is used for salt. And you'd have a large salt cellar, one at each end of a table, and people would pass it. And that would be what this is for. And basically, that's it. The pattern also produced a mustard ladle for dried mustard, though the master salt could possibly do double duty. Again, the inspector is not going to throw a fit if you're done either way.
So ideally, you would have two of these then. One at a
And
table.
two, depending on the size of the table, if it was a small dinner for just two couples, one master salt would do, but you'd want enough so that it could be passed conveniently from one end of the table to the other. Three people would share one master salt, and the other would share the other one.
So if you were building a set in any pattern and they had master salts available and you were going for service of 12, you'd probably want two then.
I would think two, depending on how you're seating the table.
Okay.
Or you can go the next spoon.
Yes. Now the next spoon is very interesting. It only comes in at 2.5. And what is
And
this
that
one?
is an individual salt spoon. So you could avoid the dilemma of how many master salt spoons to have by just finding, if you're patient and young, 12 individual salt spoons. And a smaller salt cellar would be at everybody's place setting, and it would be at the top of the plate, and that salt spoon would be in there. So people would have their own individual salt spoon. And they would have made individual pepper shakers to go with each one of these, and those were more often than not sterling. And you'd have each person would have their own settings for that.
So have you ever seen a table where both were there, where the master salts were on and then the individuals, like the master salts to refill the individual salts, or have you never seen that?
I've never seen that.
Okay.
I don't think I don't think that would happen.
Yeah, because you'd have to use up a lot of salt out of your individual salt to need to refill it.
Yes, and even my mother, rest her soul, was a better cook than she didn't need that much salt. So you do
Yeah.
no it that would and then you'd really have to make sure your cardiologist was not invited also. It's just makes it so much more complicated.
Too much salt. Yeah,
Mhm,
you don't want too much.
mhm.
Okay. Well, that is our list of pieces for today. Trenton, if people need to contact you for buying or selling any type of sterling flatware, hollowware, how do they get a hold of you?
It is info at Trenton, Trenton, for silver.com.
If you like this video, guys, please click the like button and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you next time.